I leave for 5 minutes to use the washroom, and this is what you come up with?
Alright, so the Muppets. Since you didn't like my intro.
Hey, I'm just saying. There's better things.
There's better intros. Okay.
Well, I'm Tic Tac. This is
Squigs. And we're going to go off on someone's childhood fantasy.
Childhood Fantasy. This thing, Muppets, the series ended before I even had a chance to watch the first show. But yes, I did watch it as a kid.
Let's talk about the story.
The story, it's about a young Muppet named Walter who thinks he's the only Muppet out there, and he sees an old rerun, because that's all you ever see at our age now, of the Muppets, and then he realizes he's not the only Muppet, and then it becomes this like lifelong thing to see the Muppets. And so then his brother
being
Jason
Voorhees.
No.
Jason Segel.
Yeah, I just want to make sure to say his name properly.
Yeah, we got it. Okay.
That's why I was hoping you'd fill in.
Voorhees.
Yes. And so then they go, and then the whole thing is there's an evil man wants to buy the Muppet Studios for nefarious purposes. And it brings back the ensemble cast from the Muppets that use a lot of the same.
Every last one of them. Waka waka. No? Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. How did you feel it related to, I guess, a mature audience for comedy?
Well, considering the mature audience is the people that have watched the show and love the show, like
when they were younger.
I mean, going to the theater to see the theater, maybe a quarter full of kids and 3/4 full of adults reminiscing about old times.
Yes, I think I want to touch on that right now. The fact that if you're older, I grew up with them, or like you, just outside the generation gap that did grow up with them, you were able to really enjoy this movie because it draws on those people because you're getting the whole cast back together.
Yep.
You're seeing what happened over the years because really nothing honestly happened over the years, and then this movie happens. And for younger people, I feel it did a really good job too. It was just funny like it used to be, but there is, for me, a gap, I find, for people that are in between that age.
Would you say you're in between that age
I would
group?
say I'm pretty much in between.
So the main two actors in this movie are Jason Segel or how do you say it?
And Amy Adams.
And Amy Adams. I knew Amy Adams' name. That's easy.
Well,
But-
she's a girl. And
So yeah.
drooling
So
the
they're
whole
and then
time.
Walter, right? They're the main characters.
Well, yeah, that leads to the next part, which is all these special guests that they have in this one. I don't think we're going to even start trying to name off all of them.
Besides, we don't want to tell you all of them
That's true.
because
There's
it's
a lot of
like
them in
once
there
you
that-
see certain characters, you're like, whoa! You're like,
Yeah.
it makes
You
it
just
that
get
much
so
more
surprised.
enjoyable. Yeah.
It's part of the movie, really, to be surprised by who's all in here, so no spoiler on our part. But there are a lot of them, just like our little special guest today.
I can't even speak. You bring it out again.
Hello.
Oh man, you're a horrible ventriloquist. Horrible.
Alright, enough of that.
With that said, all I have to say is mana mana do 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 mana mana do 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 do. Anyways, that's the word of the day. Coincidentally enough, it's like MAH with a na and an MAH with a na.
Right?
We're hoping that's right. And if not, the Muppets can correct us. Mana mana do do do. Sorry, I'm so carried away with musical numbers. Yeah.
Yes, I'll talk about that.
I really enjoyed the movies. With a lot of people, the music, Flight of the Conchords, the writers for some of that music, he's in there and he actually writes. There's some original songs. If you are maybe not a fan of musicals, this isn't your typical la 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 la. Everything's
It's not
all
Glee.
No, yeah, it's not Glee. There. So with that said, there is one thing that was a little disappointing, but if you think of the rating of the movie, which was a G movie for great, it was slow in some parts, and for me, anytime you have any kind of movie and it gets slow, it's very unfortunate.
But, that said, I didn't fall asleep in this movie. Like I
Well,
have
because
most movies this
it's
summer.
because you're waiting for the next thing to happen. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, what song are they gonna sing? What funny thing is Gonzo gonna do? Right?
What's going to happen next? So I don't think that really, in this case, for once, the slower story affected my rating.
No, I totally agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, for once. You won't agree with my puppet, but you'll agree with this.
This puppet was ridiculous. It
I
didn't
mean,
even have those
if
glue
I
on
had a
eyes.
few more
if you had those little
hours,
wiggly eyes, it's like.
No, I was hoping for that, but it's not in the budget.
So, out of 5 Waka Wakas, I give it I give it a hard 3.5, so I'm just gonna give it a 4, just because I like the
4.
music.
I was gonna give it a 2.5. I think I'm gonna stick with that. 2.5, only because I fell outside that gap of people who were reminiscing or the younger people who are toddlers going to this movie. So, you gotta stop throwing these tomatoes and keep eating this popcorn and enjoying it every time.